On the weekend, a nice home tournament, very competitive tournament, very high level of play at home. It was nice. Friday night we had a great crowd of almost 2,700, and it was a very, very fun atmosphere. Students did a phenomenal job keeping energy in the gym, and I thought we played really well in the first set against Louisville, as well as we had all year, and just couldn't sustain. I thought in the third set we lost a lead, and I think we didn't show a great deal of toughness in that situation against Louisville. So my message to the team with that one was that we kind of let that one sneak away. We lost our lead and we didn't fight back and take it back. And so toughness is something that's going to be a theme for us as we move forward in the season. Marshall, nice 3-0 win over them. And then on Sunday, a really high-level match versus Virginia. I was talking to the Virginia coach, and both teams played as well as they had all year. I thought our level of play was very high. I thought which has been the case with us, we've played really well for 10 to 15 minutes in a row. And that duration of time is getting higher, which is what we need, which we want to be more consistent. And then we give up probably about a 4 or 5 point run. And when we do that once in a set, we've been playing well enough that we can recover and win a set. But when we do it twice in a set, we can't. And that's essentially what happened in the Virginia match, is just too many point runs were given up by us again, and we played really well at times. But just couldn't finish. The first set really kind of stands out as one that we had an opportunity to win and just didn't close the door on that one. Some individual performances. I thought Chelsea Bilger in her first six rotation weekend, where she played front row and back, did a terrific job. She led us in digs with 51. Her first time playing significant back row time. I thought she did well. I thought Kelly Lamberti had a really nice weekend with 3.6 kills per game, hit over a 200. That's pretty good. I thought Bailey set pretty well. One of the biggest glaring issues I think that we had this weekend is I think Virginia was very good at stopping the middle, and Katie and Lexi, we know, have to score a lot of points for us. And there's no secret in that. And they were really good at slowing those two down. It enabled our left sides to go off and score a ton of points, which was nice to see our left sides do that. But there's no question we needed a few more points out of the middle. And like I said, Virginia did a great job. Katie had some phenomenal swings that Virginia was just making plays. Just plays that don't get made very often, and they seemed to make them on Katie all day. And so we tipped our cap to them and thought both teams played really well, and they just edged us in the score column at the end because of those point runs we gave up. So what I'm really pleased about is how much better we've gotten in the last 3 weeks. I think we looked way better this weekend than we did the first weekend of the year, and then also I thought our offense was a little bit better than it was last week too. And so I'm excited for our young team getting better now at this point. And we got a busy week in front of us. We play Pitt. We leave tonight for that, and then we come back Tuesday night, Wednesday class, and then we leave Thursday first thing in the morning for a tournament in Georgia. So if you're a player, this is a great week for you because we played Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. So that's a fun time for them to get out of practices and get to play games because they'd much rather do that every day. I think they'd prefer a Major League Baseball schedule where we play 162 times in a year instead of practicing. So we're looking forward to that. It should be another week of another BCS opponent on Tuesday that serves really aggressive in Pitt and is 8-2. Another good team that we play tomorrow. So it's almost MAC time, but we still have some non-conference stuff to take care of before we move into the MAC schedule. So I'll answer any questions you have.
What improvements are you hoping to see over this week, knowing that MAC in the regular season is looming?
I'd like us to. I think we've gotten a higher level of play recently for longer periods of time. I'd like to see us stop point runs. I'd like to see us not give up 4 in a row. For a whole match, for 2 matches, for 3 matches, so that we can sustain good play and close games. I think I'd also like to see us, if we lose a lead, come back stronger and finish a game. There's a couple of things left on our bucket list that we have to get done before we're in regular season play, and we'll hope that they happen this week. The nice part is we got just out of the first weekend, 3 5-gamers, then one right off the bat. So the bucket list of winning in 5. We're 3-1 in those situations, and so that was a nice thing to kind of get crossed off. And then learning what we think will be our lineup as we continue into the season is we're seeming to get a pretty good handle on that. Healthy, that's another thing we want to look forward to as we move forward. Nicole missed Friday's match with 101 fever, but we were able to play her a little bit as the weekend wore on, and she got a little bit more rest, and so she'll see more minutes as we continue on. The bucket list is moving forward. We just need a couple more things to cross off before we get to conference play.
So you said that the team is excited to play a lot of games this week, but are there any hardships that go along with traveling so much?
Oh yeah, it's without question there will be some challenges in our travel schedule, our match schedule. We play 4 matches in 2 days, which we really haven't done since I've been here. That will be challenging with the rest in between, but it's a little bit like 2-a-days. All of those teams are from the South, and we just go down there and we wanted to play some different teams and some different styles and really just play. At that point, there isn't as much scouting and match prep that goes on as a regular season match or when you're playing 1 a day like this last weekend. You're just trying to get better as a team. And so scouting will be limited. That's a hardship. Preparation, rest, all that stuff will be challenging, but we're going to try and gut it out. I think this will maybe help us with our toughness, which is something I think we need to do a little bit better.
Coach, you mentioned Pittsburgh serves aggressively. What do you have in store to try and combat that?
Well, we're going to have to communicate in passing, and obviously today at practice we're going to fire as many balls as we can in our seams and make our kids commit to them and try and fight it off. They miss a very big number because they're serving so aggressive. So you really have to just try and manage it. We call it manage the service pressure, and so that's something we talk about when they're serving bullets. Is can you fight it off? Can we stay in system? Can we find an offensive rhythm? And that's a challenge against a really aggressive serving team. So we'll see how we do with it.
And last time I checked, they're pretty high in their conference at opponents' hitting percentage. You mentioned Lexi and Katie had struggled in the games this weekend. How do you kind of, develop a game plan to help that out?
Well, we have to get Katie and Lexi going, and we know that, and so we have to find out how they can be successful. Whatever sets they can hit successfully against Pitt or just against no one. As we have to find ways for them to score points. Instead of no one, I should say anyone. Typically we can find 2 or 3 sets that we feel they can score on the majority of the time, and we just need to find out the placement on those so that we can get those guys going a little more.
And does Bailey have to kind of run the offense like she did against Marshall for you to be successful?
I thought we were relatively diverse over the weekend in terms of attempt numbers. It obviously, in any long matches and good matches, you get a little outside hitter heavy. But, looking at our numbers last weekend, Chelsea had 74 swings. Katie and Lexi each had 52. Faith had 48. 48, 52, 52, and 74. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good distribution. Kelly Lamberti, obviously, with the high of 121 attempts on the weekend. But that's kind of the style we play, and that she's going to see a lot of out-of-system balls. I don't know if necessarily Marshall versus other opponents is what needs to happen, but I know our hitters need to score when they're put in good situations.
I noticed that Virginia seemed to not exactly run a bump set spike type of offense. They seem to just, it just seemed kind of unorthodox, kind of the way they played. Would you say that?
I think that their first contact is not their strength, and that might make it look a little bit unorthodox. I think they're certainly trying to at all times, but what they're going to do is keep the ball in play and try and get block touches because of their length. Although their first touch is not directly to the setter often, they almost always touch it because of their length. They've got kids playing middle back that are 6'1", 6'2", with long arms and range. They've got a taller libero. They've got a tall right back. Those kids touch a lot of balls. So again, at times it seems unorthodox, but in actuality it's just really good defense that they're playing, and then they're throwing stuff over. Again, I thought they played extremely well against us defensively and made it really hard on our middles to score.
do you think that you saw like a relatively good response from the leadership on the team to keep the morale up and the confidence up? Because I know for a while, like you said, the girls were hitting as hard as they could, and it seemed like they couldn't get anything to hit the floor.
Yeah, I think the message after the Virginia match was that we played at a really high level for long periods of time, and I was excited how far this team had come in 3 weeks. We never say losing is okay or losing is it isn't a big deal, because it is. It's we're in those matches to win those matches. But I was pleased at how we grew, and my message continues to be to them: leave out the 4 points of you can't go 90% good and 10% terrible. You can go 90% good and 10% okay, and you'll win. But terrible gives you up 5 points in a row, and that's what happened too many times throughout the weekend. And so if we can eliminate that 10% terrible and just make it 10% below average, right, we have chances to win. So our goal is to, going into this week, is to translate our good play into wins. Now we've been playing better, we're getting better. It has to translate into wins. It's that time of year where we have to start translating it. I mean, we want it to translate day one. We always want to start and win that. But with this young of a team, I didn't know that was fully realistic. And now we're getting to that point where we've played together long enough. We think we know what we're doing lineup-wise. Players have become more consistent and shown us the things we need to be successful, and so we hope it translates to wins.